Sahana bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave. Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharyaya. Brahma Vidyacharyaya Nachiketa Secha. Nachiketa Secha Anoraniyan. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. Mahato Mahiyan Atmasya Jantoho. Atmasya Jantoho Nihito Guhayam. Nihito Guhayam 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 Tamakratuh Pashyati. Tamakratuh Pashyati Vitashokaha. Vitashokaha Dhatu Prasadat. Dhatu Prasadat Mahimanam Atmanaha. Mahimanam Atmanaha. Yeah. 1 to 20. 1 to 20. That's the mantra we just chanted, okay? Are you finding it? So, after going through all these violent metaphors last week of what? Huh? Yeah, slaying, the slayer and the slain, the killer and the killed, and then, as though the killed will think, I am killed. But the idea is, we shouldn't think like that. We shouldn't take it literally. The idea is, if supposing somebody thinks I'm about to be killed, that's the idea. This is the end of me. And forget killed. Even, killed is just put for the whole recipient of action. Like even thinking I'm close to death, I'm the end. It's a similar feeling. So, if supposing the one who is about to meet the death thinks what? I am the recipient of this horrible action. Atma is not the bhokta, not the recipient of the most heinous of crimes. Okay? And then if the killer says, oh, I have escaped so many times, this time also I am going to decapitate this fellow and escape. Even then, what? The killer is, putting, like there are all these serial killers are there. And, each time they have some kind of a, we hear that each time they have a, some kind of a high coming out of this, because it's an addictive, dysfunctional, pathological behavior, and it's addictive. So, if the killer says, look, what a fine mess I have made, he too, or she too is not really has not killed the Atma really, And so this is what, so that is these two verses are the spin-off from understanding that Atma is never, ever either the doer or the done-in. Never. And see, it's interesting because even in the other Upanishad we are at the exact same place. We are in the same place. And so it's always like that, things triangulate together, it's very beautiful. So then the question is, what is this Atma? And more importantly, where is it? If it is so special, I'd like to have it for myself. And where is this? And how to understand it and how to get in touch with this Atma. This next verse gives a series, the next 3 verses give a series of contradictions. Because the whole idea of the mind is that the tendency of the mind is to, I want to pin down the Atma. Like when butterfly collectors, what is there? That's what they do. They want to pin down the specimen and then say the name and the genus and the species, and if it doesn't have a name, they will name it after themselves. Any stone, anything, everything, like that, you know. Half of the geological specimens are named after the people who discovered them. Nobody invents anything. You just, happen to be the first person who found it, and sometimes you don't even happen to be the first person who found it. The first person who found it didn't have good karma and you had better karma. And so you got the credit, that's all. You know, like so many things, like in mathematics we are finding that the Vedic mathematics in the ancient India, they had everything. From the zero symbol to everything was already there. And, but the credit was given to the Greeks, that is how it is. So now the whole situation is very interesting here, because this Atma, when one is an avid listener of the Atma and wants to study it, the mind is very categorical in its thinking and it wants to pin the Atma down. Is it white or is it black? Which color it is first, What does it smell like? See, which color means what? I want to objectify it with my eyes. What does the Atma smell like? Does it have a special smell, some fragrance? Then I want to objectify it through the nose, through the sense of smell. Then what does Atma feel like? Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it like holding a rock? Or is it like touching velvet or the petals of a soft flower? So like this, that means Atma I want to objectify with a sense of touch. And similarly, what is the sound of Atma? What sound Atma makes? Huh? What sound does it make? Atma does not make any sound. Yeah. If you want to listen to Atma sound, what will happen? You will hear the sounds of digestion taking place. That's all. When everything is quiet. Atma is not making sound. Space and sound are connected, yes. And we do say that the whole universe began with the sound of Om. It's a different thing. But that's not the sound of Atma. Atma is very quiet. But then if you say, oh, Atma doesn't make a sound, that means I should not talk. This is another problem. Yeah, there was one person who came to the Rishikesh ashram a long time ago. And the person said that Atma is silent. Atma kuch nahi bolta hai. That means in Hindi, Atma does not talk. And now he said, I'm in a quandary. Because Swamiji has asked me to talk on what? Atma. So Atma doesn't talk. And then what have I heard? I am Atma. That's correct? Yeah. So Atma doesn't talk. I am Atma. And therefore what? I shouldn't talk. Logical, We have heard this kind of a logical kind of. So everything is silent. So I should also be silent, So actually we would have preferred that. But then he went on to talk. Talk. This is the thing. And then he ended the talk by saying, those who know don't talk. Arey, ye kya baat hai? And those who talk don't know. And then so which category we should put him in after 2 hours of, talking? This is really funny. So this is the whole way in which the categorical mind latches on to these, dyads. You see? Atma is silent. And see, Dakshinamurti is silent. Has he said anything? All this time he's been here. 2nd anniversary he's going to celebrate. Is that today? No.
No, 22nd.
Next week.
Next week.
Okay, yeah. 2nd anniversary he's going to celebrate. And he's not said anything so far. We've done all kinds of things and probably walked all over his grace. But he's not said anything. Chup chap betha hai. He's sitting quietly. So he is Atma, and also in the Dakshinamurti shloka, what does it say? Mauna Vyakhya, the one who speaks through silence. The sound of silence. This is all a whole lot of spiritual romanticism. Yeah. Because if Atma, this is very logical, we have to use the brain cells. If Atma is everything, then how can it be sound, how can it be silence but not sound? Correct? How can it be one thing and not the other? This we have to understand. So Atma is neither opposed to silence nor is it opposed to sound. In fact, every sound that is produced is because of what? Atma. And Atma in itself does not speak. It is the author of all sounds, but is an as though author, because in whose presence sound is formed. You know? Because whenever I say the word sound, you know, immediately the opposite, the silence is invoked. Because what enables me to hear the sound is what? The silence. And so when I invoke, when I become the witness of the absence of sound, that means what? What is Atma? The absence of sound or the witness of the absence of sound? Yes. The witness. The witness is more, what should I say, pervasive than that which is an object of observation. So the one who cognizes no sound is more important, is the cognizer, is in whose presence that silence unfolds, in whose presence the sound unfolds, that is Atma. So Atma cannot be, opposed to either sound or silence. So it is not correct to say we should all sit in silence. I mean, I love silence. I wish everybody would sit in silence a lot of the time. But that doesn't mean that is a preparation to know the Atma, because otherwise we are filled with all kinds of chatter. And so the silence becomes the practice of silence, becomes a sadhana. Sadhana means a spiritual discipline to quieten the mind, to discover that which is, unmoving and which is the truth of everything. It becomes a sadhana. So the silence is a means. The practice of maintaining silence and the practice of vak tapas, talking as little as possible, whenever possible, they become practices to gain the truth of oneself. Yeah. They don't, just by being silent, you're not emulating Atma, because Atma is not opposed to sound. And so this is what the whole understanding is. And so this way, so we have covered all the organs, the sense organs. What does Atma taste like? Atma, it doesn't have taste. You cannot objectify it with a taste, with a hearing. Yat tad adrekshyam agrahyam avarnam. What color is it? What form is it? Is Atma fat? Is Atma thin? Is Atma tall? Is Atma short? All these are questions which cannot be answered. Why? Because that which is tall and short has the presence of Atma. Both have the presence of Atma, whereas Atma is neither tall nor short because it has no form. It is you. It is the self-effulgent consciousness which is you, which is the truth of you. So this much we have to understand. But still the mind goes, well, how about inference? Because we have finished with the first 5 direct means of knowledge, which is the perception. All the 5 sense organs we have finished with. And then so what is left? I will infer there is Atma. That's what Descartes tried to do, the philosophers. What did he say? I think, therefore I am. Yeah, that's what he said. And I think, therefore I am. So supposing somebody asked Descartes. Descartes was invited to Eugene to give a talk. And somebody asked Descartes, Professor, is it going to rain tomorrow? And if he said, I don't think so, does he stop existing? Because there was no thought. I think, therefore I am. So I don't think, therefore what? I am not? No. Even if he doesn't think, he is still there. He is the witness of no thought and the witness of thought, correct? So we cannot say that the Atma is an object of thought, which is basically what inference is. And even after learning about this many times, what happens? Still the urge is to catalogue and file Atma away. Yes. To file it away. I just wish I could get a handle on it. And what does Kathopanishad say? Forget it. In 2 words. Forget trying to do that, because you're going down the wrong rabbit hole. Yes. You're digging a hole for yourself. Yeah. Whereas you have to know you are the hole, not go down this hole, So therefore, the next 3 verses are mind-boggling set of present the Atma in terms of mind-boggling sets of paradoxes, which are so much fun to study, and let us look at them. So the first one, which we chanted, 1, 2, 20, Anoho, Aniyan. Anoho means of everything that is small. Anu means atom. Atom perhaps is the origin of atom is from Atma, I don't know, but we have to look. Atom means the most minute particle. Maybe atom is no longer the minute particle, whatever it is, quarks or whatever it is now, the smallest of 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 the smallest. So the atom of the atom, the quark of the quark, Anoho Aniyan means the atom of the atom. So anything that is invisible to the naked eye and which requires a lot of, microscope and telescope and all kinds of scopes to bring it into focus, because it is so small that also anything that is small is not devoid of the presence of Atma, meaning has the presence of Atma. So anything that is small, what is the truth of it? Atma. Oh, so what about all the big things? Mahato Mahiyan. Not just the small things. Mahataha means of all the big things. Mahiyan, the biggest of the biggest. So now what do we have? A big contradiction. What is the contradiction? Smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. Smallest of the smallest of the smallest, biggest of the biggest of the biggest. What is that? Atma. Oh, then how do I look for it? That will be there. Okay, so I can't go around every mountain and say where is Atma, where is Atma. I can't dig into every atom and say where is Atma, where is Atma, where is Atma. You have to do better than this, because where is it? And the next line says where it is. It says what? Atma asya jantoho nihitaha guhayam. What is the Atma? The Atma is that which is nihitaha. Nishchayena hitaha. Dha, to place. And dha becomes hitaha in past passive participle. And so nishchayena hitaha, that which is definitely placed. Placed means not thrown. Like when you go like this, means you're throwing something. But when you carefully place, like a flower at the altar, you have an intentionality that this is the place it should occupy. And it should not go here or there. You carefully place, like a arranged flower vase in the center of the table, because that's the centerpiece, and you have invited some people over. So you don't put it anywhere off center. So you carefully place that. So that means there is purpose, intentionality and care. So the Atma is carefully placed where? Asya jantoho guhayam, in the cave of every jantu. Jantu means what? Creature. Everything that is alive. Even everything that is not alive is not without the presence of Atma, please understand. But if you ask the rock, are you Atma? It will not respond, that's all. Because there is no sukshma sharira. There is no subtle body to make it respond. Correct? Yeah. So therefore what? Therefore it is the smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. You don't have to go far to find it where? It is in the cave of the heart of every being. Oh, except mine, right? Each one will be thinking. Must be in the cave of somebody else's heart. That's what happens. Like, you have some famous person who notices you and says, please come. And then what is the first instinct? How can that person mean me? You look behind, thinking somebody behind you was being addressed, correct? So like this, so Atma is in the cave of your heart. My heart, no. You mean somebody sitting behind me? That is the first feeling. Why? Because of Ajnanam. The feeling is, I don't deserve this wonderful Atma that is without size, without shape, without form, which is the truth of the whole universe, which is the cause of the universe, which is limitless, which is whole. How can that be in me? How can that be hidden in me? How is that possible? So that is another contradiction. How is smaller than the smallest, I can understand. It can be in the cave of the heart, correct? But the bigger than the biggest, how can it be in the cave of this heart? And think of caterpillar, there are already that is 2 inches, and then inside that, it is bigger than the biggest. How can it be in the cave of the heart? That is why we have to see that when you say smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest, what does it mean? No specific size. Formless, sizeless, that which doesn't occupy any size, any place. And if it doesn't occupy space, then what about time? Because time and space are a warp that go together. So there is no time involved here. So timeless, spaceless, which is the truth of oneself, hidden in oneself. And the heart is always called, heart and buddhi in most, Eastern traditions, they are one and the same. Heart and mind are one and the same. Only in the West we have this artificial, the distinction between the thinking and the feeling faculties, the heart and the mind. And that is actually a dangerous distinction that we have cultivated, and we have allowed it to pervade our, understanding. Because it is not a very useful distinction. Already there are so many categories and so many ways in which one feels cut up, and this is one more way. And the thinking and the feeling are 2 separate things. In Ayurveda and also Chinese medicine, they say that to be in perfect balance means the mind has to sink into the heart. Yeah. Very nice image to think that there is no prioritization, and that the feeling is so much in line with the thought, and the thought is in line with the cosmic flow. That is how the whole understanding is. And that is the healthy person in balance, who acts from that place. And so here, the guha, even though it says the cave of the heart, what is meant is the buddhi, same thing. It's the mind, heart, same thing. So in the intellect of the place where the thinking faculty is, that thinking faculty itself functions because it is blessed by the light of Atma. The presence of Atma is very much there, correct? Yeah. So this is what it is. And guha means cave. And why is the intellect called a cave? Because it has bats of doubt flying around. Yeah. Stalactites and stalagmites of raga dveshas piercing through the ceiling and the floor of this cave. Dark. Dark, why? Ignorance. Yeah, ajnanam. No light there. And this gem is hidden there. The truth of oneself is hidden there. No light at all. And then what? Full of doubts. It's like a jungle with weeds, overgrown trees, overgrown creepers of all kinds of attachments to this and that. I can't live without this, I can't live without that, I have to have this, without this I'm incomplete and I have to do this. And all these things which make it scary cave. That is why nobody wants to, even the person to whom the cave of the intellect and the heart belongs, even they don't want to visit it, correct? Yeah. They want to vacate the cave. That is why there are so many distractions available. Yeah. from all these smartphones. And I told you earlier why we call them smartphones. Why do we call them smartphones? Because we have transferred our smartness onto them. Yeah. So if the phones are smart, what does it make us? I don't want to say. So these are the smartphones, and then there are all these gadgets, all kinds of gadgets. How to make life easy. Once I was traveling somewhere, I was going on the plane, and then, inside that pocket they have some magazines. So I didn't even look at the title, I just was flipping the magazine, and it said Sky Mall. Yeah. How do you spell mall? Yeah, that by which you are mauled. Yeah, that is. Sky Mall means you take in the sky, you can do this shopping, supposedly, and all kinds of useless things which you cannot even think about, All kinds of things were there. 150 pages, not 1 or 2 pages. Useless things. There's all kinds of things. How to, some kind of a gadget. If I'm sitting here and I want to open the door. Yeah, so there is a telescopic, what is it called? Some kind of a pole, which you operate with a button, and that closes on the doorknob, and then I can open it from here. Won't it be easier to leave the door open and just say, come in, supposing, even if there are, ability issues, still, that is how it is. So things like this. And then there's a whole, another thing, there's a whole section for all kinds of things that you can help with your dog, with the cat, So many gadgets for the cat and the dog. Yeah. Matching sweater for owner and dog, Already there is a competition between there is a competition, annual competition of lookalikes, because it says that if you stay with an animal long enough, either, I'm confused, either you start to look like the animal or the animal starts to look like you. I don't know which one. Perhaps there is some truth to it because you keep mimicking each other's expression. They say that about long married couples also. I don't know. So then, and so already there is a competition. And then if you want to secure a win in the competition, you wear the same sweater like the dog, matching sweater. Like this, it was just useless things. So much paper they have wasted, so much printage they have wasted to all kinds of things. A pen that is a sly camera, why you want to, take photos like that? Why you want to do that? But this is, maybe some people want it. And hidden cameras are inside teddy bear and inside like this flower vase, so that you can watch what all is going on in your house, and that you can connect to some, device where supposedly you're at your job, but you're looking at your house all the time, What a pathetic thing, really. And so this is why even though Bhagavan, which is the Atma, which is Ishvara, is sitting right in the heart, the person, the cave, which is the temple for Ishvara, has got a deserted ghost town look. Why? Because Sky Mall, that's why. If not Sky Mall, Ground Mall and some other mall and all kinds of things. So there is constant distraction. Can't sit with oneself even for 5 minutes. There is no Shanti. Shanti means freedom from disturbance is not there. There is no Shanti. Always the mind keeps going. Can't sit with oneself, can't enjoy oneself. And that the reason is because of this rank ajnanam, self-ignorance. And the self-ignorance makes one have all kinds of complexes, projections, sorrow and fear. And this is what, here, that is the reason why the cave has a deserted look, because I don't pay any attention to this cave. And to bring this cave into attention is the first baby steps of spirituality. And that is why all the Indian temples, the Hindu temples, are built in line with what this Upanishad is saying and what the other Upanishads are saying about this cave. So you have a courtyard, in the ancient temples, which were built in the 8th, 9th centuries, you have an outer courtyard, and there will be people. There is a small mall there. There will be sellers selling flowers, selling coconuts, selling some, saris from the goddess. Goddess wore this sari. Of course, everyone is saying that. You don't know whether to believe or not. So, and then there is all kinds of offerings. You please, this particular Bhagavan likes this, you please buy this. And all these things. And you go to any place. I went to Jerusalem, it's no different. There also in the outer courtyard, people are selling things. Take this holy sand and holy water and all this. So that is the outer courtyard. And then there is inside, there is another courtyard, like the next level, where there is usually different kinds of sculptures, and the sculptures show the entire Jagat. Sculptures show the whole thing. Somebody is carving something. It shows people farming. It shows different erotica is there. Beautiful erotic sculptures. And it shows the whole universe. And then you go into another courtyard, still a little quieter. Then there is musical pillars. You can just keep pushing the, sounding the pillars with your hand as you walk. And the 7 notes are played. It is so beautiful. Beautiful. And so now you are calming down a little more, and you are going, and we are talking of acres and acres. By this, to walk these 3 courtyards itself, it would have taken you half an hour, by leisurely. You're just looking around at other small sculptures and everything. And then, you go further, and then you keep going, and then each area has something to offer, and it's getting smaller and quieter, smaller and quieter. And then you finally go, and then all that is there is the sanctum. The inner sanctum is there, and you're standing right in front of it. And it is pitch dark. And in the ancient temples, even today, there is no electricity. None whatsoever. And you're standing there in the pitch dark. And what is there? All that is there is just this. You can't see through anything. There's a small, tiny oil lamp. But you don't know what the goddess is wearing. You don't know anything. You don't know the form of the goddess. Nothing, you're just standing there. And then, everything is dark. This is a South Indian temple. So the walls are dark. The image that is carved is from black stone. That is also dark. The priest coming from South India is also dark. So there is no one, nothing you can see. Then the arati is done, the waving of this camphor lamp. So beautiful to watch. And the mantra that is chanted again from the Upanishad. Or what is that mantra? That is that, where the sun doesn't shine, neither the moon nor the stars, what to talk of lightning. That which is the source of all light itself, lights up the sun and the whole universe. To that source of light, I dare to show this little camphor lamp. That is the arati. And it's a very profound meaning, because it says, please use this camphor lamp. Let this camphor lamp, be a symbol of the leaving of the ignorance from my heart. This is what it is. Why camphor is used? Because it burns without residue. It does not leave anything behind when it burns. But what about that black, whatever you mark, that you forget. But it doesn't leave any, like wax, you cannot say the same thing. Anything leaves a residue. Camphor, especially pure camphor, leaves no residue. And so the fire of knowledge, may it burn away my ignorance without leaving any residue. And the whole thing, what it leaves is the truth of myself. And so the priest lights up the whole deity from top to toe, showing the lamp. That is the significance of this, what is called arati. Arat means the end. So after you see the truth of yourself, what else is left? It's the end. That's why it is done at the very end in the puja. Arat, finished. Nothing more is left. So the arati, which means this final, ritual. And what is this final ritual? The eradication of the self-ignorance is the final ritual. and you see the form of Bhagavan right there inside your heart as the light of all lights, which is hidden due to ignorance and misunderstanding. That is the whole idea. It is so beautiful. And that is how the first and the second portion of the Vedas, they actually very nicely sync together. See, these days everyone talks of syncing, not S-I-N-K sync. I'm talking of S-Y-N-C sync, okay? Yeah. So here, everything has to be synced. If you have some gadget, everything has to be kind of attached to this computer, correct? Yeah, that is called syncing. Yeah. If you don't know how to do it, you have a sinking feeling, you don't know what is happening. So like this, the first portion of the Veda, which you think it's all about worship, and how does it connect to Vedanta? This is one of the sinks, yeah. This is how it sinks, where you see the truth of the first portion of the Vedas, speaking directly to Vedanta. You see where the culmination of all these rituals and all these acts of prayer and worship and all these efforts, all this effort that you have put to make yourself more prayerful, where prayer is no longer an act, it is just your attitude, and all this bear fruit in this final ritual of the eradication of ignorance. How beautiful is that? So therefore what? Atma nihito guhayam. And that's why we say that the body is a temple. There is another verse. Deho devalaya proktaha. Proktaha, it is said. Dehaha, body. Devalaya means a temple. Alaya, home, deva, of that effulgent being Ishvara. So the body is a temple for Bhagavan. And then what? Who is this Jiva? Jivo Deva Sanatanaha. This Jiva is nothing but Deva. Yeah. Deva means the self-effulgent, the Ishvara. So Jiva means what? The Piva, the one with lot of peeves. So the Piva is nothing but Ishvara. Jivo Deva Sanatanaha. How to understand this? Tyajet Ajnana Nirmalyam. It's all like an act of worship. It's seen. Take away the old flowers of ignorance. Like in the morning when you do puja, yesterday's flowers, what do? You say, oh, I can use it for one more day. Maybe, in the West they do that. Not in India. Yeah. In the tropical countries, you cannot do that at all. By next day morning, it will be, it will be like a dried flower arrangement, really. It will be all just crisp. All your flower garlands will be crisp. And so, Tyajet means remove the dead flowers of ignorance. So the ignorance in the form of dead flowers which is blocking the view, remove. And then how should I do the puja to this inner Bhagavan? Soham bhavena pujayet. Saha eva aham. Soham. Soham means what? Saha, that Bhagavan is aham alone. Saha plus aham becomes Soham. So that's why I always say the Vedanta journey is a journey from ho-hum to Soham. Life is ho-hum before Vedanta. After Vedanta, what does it become? Soham. Yeah. From ho-hum to Soham. And so here, Soham bhavena pujayet. So that is why in the Hindu tradition, the body is adorned. So that is why we put tilakam here, in between the brow, because it's an energy center. And that is why people put flowers in their hair and adorn, because they're not adorning this body, they are adorning Bhagavan within. That is why no Indian woman will settle for 14 carat. No, she will want 22 carat only. Yeah. This is the reason. Because it is seen, anybody knows this, that is why I say that to have this understanding is such a big gift. It's a big gift. And to be born into the culture and not have this understanding is such a sad thing. This is one of the very, very sad things. So this is something which is very important to know, that this body, mind, sense complex is a temple for the divine within. And that is why when one does even some mundane acts in the morning, like brushing teeth, combing hair, etc., which one does mindlessly every day, they become mindful when you say that this is the body of Bhagavan, this is the hand of Bhagavan, this is the hair of Bhagavan, this is the temple of Bhagavan. One becomes much more alive and in the present. So this is how to understand. And then the third line says, who is the person qualified to see that? And I told you last week only one qualification. What is that? Kratuhu. Kratu means ritual. The one who is into rituals. Who is the person who performs all kinds of prayers and rituals? No, not priest. Priest is doing for other people. But generally.
Ignorant people?
No, not even ignorant people. The ignorant people, yes. But I'm looking for a more immediate answer in the sense of the one. Why do you pray? Because you want something. So the wanting person, correct? The one who keeps saying, the one who has a big wish list. Yeah. So much so that when they go to a place of prayer, all the prayers come. We don't know which to pray for first. Everything comes out all at once, Oh, that one, oh, please make it all right. Oh, make this all right and make my health okay and make the other person's health okay. Oh, but that one I forgot. Oh, so sorry I forgot that. And that one also, please help. And, and this one also. And really speaking, most of the time when you pray for loved ones, you're really praying for yourself, correct? Yeah. So, this is something which we have. So, this is a huge wish list. And the wish list person wants to tick off the things, and this is this is an ancient Vedic person. And what is the only recourse? I mean, you're not allowed because of dharma, you're not allowed to snatch it from the neighbor, correct? So what do? You pray for it. That was their potluck. That was the activity, because each time they had a ritual, they had to feed people, so they got around and they milled around and saw each other and had a good time. This was their only social thing, because in the olden days there were no malls. There was only food. Yeah, this was the only thing. And so this was the main gathering, was yajnas. And the yajnas were done because people had a big wish list. So they would do all these fire rituals and specialized prayers to get what they wanted. So that person is called Kratuhu. And even if you say, I am Akratu, why? Because I have not performed a single fire ritual in my life. That is just a metaphor. Akratu means a person with a huge list of desires. That is, Kratuhu means the one who is, with a huge list of desires waiting to be fulfilled. Akratuhu means what? One who is free of desires. Tam akratuhu pashyati, that Atma which is hidden in the being themselves is seen clearly. Seen, the verb seen is used because that there is a certain clarity, and people rely most of all the senses, people rely most on the eyes. And so therefore the expression seen is used. So the akratuhu, the one who has no desires, the one who is not hijacked by desire here. No desire means what? Because even if you say, I want to have no desire, that becomes a desire, correct? Yeah. No desire means the one whose desires do not take him or her for a ride. Such a person is called akratuhu pashyati. So this is the qualification that one has to have. Pashyati means sees. And very interestingly, it says there is a connection between being akratu. Akratu means free of the tyranny of desire. That's a good way to put it. Akratuhu is the one who is free of being hijacked and held hostage by the desires, free of the tyranny of desires, free of being imprisoned and hijacked by desires. So there is a connection between being an akratu, free of desires, and what? And the activities of the organs of the senses and the organs of the action. There is a connection. So the desiring person, in other words, the Upanishad, she is trying to tell us, is a restless person. Because if there are a lot of agenda to fulfill, then what happens? The restlessness, rajas comes. You cannot sit quietly. What happens if you sit down? You feel like there is so many things to do. What is there to do? What should I do next? Because the people identify themselves as doers. So there is no place to be because one is constantly doing. And even if one is not doing, one is plotting the doing. Right? Yeah. Like a statistics chart, plotting. And you're thinking, okay, what do I have to do tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow is, what day is it? Okay, then this day, if it is Thursday, then I have to be here. If it is Friday, then I have to be there. And if it is this, I have to do that. And if it is that, I have to do this. And in the morning, I have these things to do. And in the afternoon, I have to do this. And there is a certain comfort in thinking that, because one wants to, like I said in the earlier portion of the lecture, one cannot imagine sitting quietly. And so the organs of action and the sense organs, which become the windows for the desire to express itself. So the eyes are always scanning, where is mine, what is mine, how can I make it mine? The ears are always scanning. What is there for me? What is there for me to hear? What is there to me to eat? So all these reporters are like searchlights. They have those searchlights, those big ones, like those searchlights, and they are scanning the whole universe to accomplish things, to accumulate things, to have and to hold and to make things mine, all these things. So they are very busy. And what about the organs of action? They are also busy. Even if you tie the person up, the person is still, rearing to go, like a horse chomping at the bit, rearing to go, and just waiting to just be, like if you say walk, some dogs even know how to spell. You say W-A-L-K, I knew one dog. As soon as you said that, it would just jump. Yeah, and then you're tying the leash, it is ready to it knows the door, it knows walk, it knows how to spell, and it has already started to smell the squirrels outside, and it is just ready to take off. And then there is a doubt, is it taking you for a walk or you are taking it? Because who should be in the front? You should be the one who is leading, should be in the front. Usually the dog is in the front, correct? Yeah. So like this, the sense organs and the organs of action are like this restless dog waiting for its master to come and take it for a walk, correct? Can't even sit, the tail is wagging, the tail is wagging the dog, and the hands and legs and the mouth is drooling because it's already tasting some things outside, and it's already thinking, okay, that is the tree I want to, that is the tree the squirrel is, I want to chase that squirrel, and it's going up that tree. It has already decided where all it's going to go. And this is like the person who is akratu. Kratu means the one filled with desires. The sense organs are always on the lookout. The organs of action are rearing to go. And therefore, what happens? There is no place. And the same Upanishad is going to say beautifully, there is no place nor time to sit and contemplate on the Atma. Correct? And so therefore, the restless person and the desiring person are one and the same. Yeah. So then you become akratu through practice, through spiritual discipline, through the study, and through choosing only Atma all the time. You become akratu. What happens when you become akratu? The sense organs and the organs of action, what happens to them?
Quiet.
They quiet down. And why do they quiet down? They quiet down because there is something which is very important happening. It's almost as if the sense organs and the organs of action are tired. And they are waiting to retire. They are tired because it's not just in this lifetime. Every lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, what is that? The person is a seeker, a desirer, a thinker, a doer, and the one that doesn't like what I, did. So a redoer of things. And this is how the organs of action and the sense organs are deprived of rest and they are tired. And the reason why the sense organs and the organs of action exist is not to chase the proverbial squirrel into the bushes, is not to chase all these, chimeras all over the place. The sense of organs and the organs of action are provided, why? To pursue this knowledge. They are there to pursue this knowledge. Apyayantu mamangani vak pranashchakshushrotram atho balam indriyani cha sarvani. Apyayantu, this is a Shanti mantra, just like we say Sahana Vavatu. This is from another Veda. Every Veda has a Shanti mantra. Yeah. Apyayantu mamangani. This is from the Chandogya. Apyayantu means, may all the limbs, my mind, my organs of action be protected. From what? From all these useless activity. Yeah. So, Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. May I know that everything is Brahman as it is declared in the Upanishad. Maham Brahma Nirakurya. May I never forget about Brahman. How is it possible to forget about Brahman? Because the forgetter is Brahman. And if you think of rose is Brahman. Forget about Brahman means may the distractions not take over my pursuit. And then what? Ma Brahma Nirakarot. May Brahman never forget me. Brahman here is Ishvara. May I always have the grace to pursue this knowledge. And all the qualifications listed in the Upanishads, may they abide in me. Te mahi santu. Ya atmani nirate upanishadsu dharmaha te mahi santu. May they abide in me. May I become a qualified person for this knowledge. May I become accra too quickly. This is a prayer before studying Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. In fact, we studied this this prayer in one of the Thanksgiving retreats. So, I remember. One of us remembers, it's okay. So then, and then what? So this is the thing. So all the hands, the legs, etc., and the whole body, mind, sense complex and this human avatara, this human upadhi is made for the sake of this knowledge alone. And so when the sense organs and when the mind and when the hands and legs and the organs of action including speech see that you are a true pursuer of Vedanta, they become happy. They say, oh, finally she got it, finally he got it, this is what is to be done. And they all become quiet. Because there is no more restlessness, there is no more seeking. Why? Because I found what I am seeking, so there is a quietude, so they all sit quietly. No more is there restlessness, no more is there fear, no more is there seeking, no more is there some kind of, panic, anxiety, incompleteness. Nothing is there. And so the organs of action and the mind in tandem help the pursuit. Before, why? They don't help because what the heart really wants is this knowledge. But where does the mind go? Away from this knowledge. That is the tendency. So one is at odds with oneself, you see. That's why the heart-mind split. Yeah. So one is at odds with oneself. And here everything has come together very nicely. The person is relatively whole. All the splits within and without are eroding slowly. And as a result, what happens? There is Shanti. And so there is no reason to overthink. There is no reason to overact. There is no reason to overreact. And there is no reason for anything except to just be. And this is what, that is why akratuhu pashyati, kratuhu na pashyati. And then the akratuhu sees this, what happens to the person? Vita shokaha, vigataha shokaha, yasmat vita shokaha, from whom all sorrow has departed. What a nice way to put it, no? Yeah. From whom all sorrow has departed. Vita shokaha. Shokaha means sorrow. I suppose that's the etymology of the word shock. Because first it is shock, then it is shoka. Shock turns into shoka. Even otherwise, see, think about it. Yeah. First one is in shock because one is in denial. I can't believe this happened. And then shock soon turns into shoka. Yeah. So Vita shoka means no shock, no shoka. Because the knowledge has become a shock absorber, a shoka absorber also. Shock absorber, shock absorber, both. In fact, in certain Indian dialects, when they want to say shock, they actually say shock. Yeah. Certain parts of India. So shock absorber and shock absorber, both simultaneously. It's such a beautiful thing. And why does the shoka go away? Why does the sorrow go away? Because it is never there to begin with. Yeah. Never there to begin with. It's like these rain clouds. Right now one may be thinking, oh, yesterday it was such a nice day. Today it was like this. Wasn't even supposed to rain. It rained. You sit in a plane and just go. 10,000 miles, not even. 5,000 miles you go up. What is there? No clouds. No rain, no dribble, this drizzle. No, nothing there. It's just all bright and sunny. And so therefore what? This knowledge elevates the view of oneself. The Jagat elevates one's own view as Ishvara. So as one takes off in the Vedantic quest, as the Vedanta plane takes off, one is transported to a different plane, where sunny skies are there everywhere, no water, no tears, no shoka, no sorrow. So if I get caught up in the point of view, there is shoka. If I rise to the view, there is no shoka. The view accommodates all the points of view and transcends them also. So then all is left is to dwell on the glory of the Atma oneself. So one's kalam nayet nirantaram. So please, because somebody asked a question, some student asked a question, what shall I do after knowledge? That means what? The knowledge hasn't taken place. So, in the Brahma Sutras also this is there. The student asked the question, what should I do after enlightenment? How long should I, or another variant of this question is, how long should I contemplate? How long should I contemplate on the glory of the Atma? As though one is telling you to do some push-ups, Supposing somebody says do push-ups, how many push-ups should I do? 100, 101, how many? Or shall we just make it 108? You please tell me how many push-ups, how many sit-ups I have to do. Because there is a lot of, crunching involved, and the word crunch itself along with push-ups and sit-ups, that itself sounds funny and horrible. That shows that there is a lot of ayasa, exertion. How much ayasa, exertion is there to see how glorious one is? Is there any exertion? No, there should not be. There is no exertion at all to see how glorious one is. And since that exertion is not there, so the question, how long I should contemplate upon the Atma does not arise. Only if it's a chore and it's an unpleasant chore, you have to ask how long I have to wash dishes. That's a different thing. But how long I have to be happy, that you cannot ask. Nobody asks us that question, how long should I be happy? Contemplating on the Atma means being happy. That's all it is. And so dhatu prasadat, mahimana means glory. Mahimanam atmanah, Atma's mahima Atma's glory, one sees, one is, one bees that glory, one sees that glory, one sees that one is that glory. And this is not something far-fetched, it is something which is very much you and very much your own nature, and that is understood, and is understood totally as the truth of oneself. And knowing this, Vita Shoko Bhavati, the sorrow has departed from home. That is what the person becomes. More we will see next time. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions?
So the Shanti mantra that we do, out of which from which
Yajurveda. Yajurveda.
So I have a question. So the fact that Atma is in the heart or the mind or whatever still limits Atma. So it cannot be the right answer.
No, it's not. It's in the heart means the truth, you have to say. Like when you say, use the heart very metaphorically, even in English. Let me get to the heart of the matter, like that. So it's the proverbial heart. The intellect here is not like Atma is sitting in the brain. But if you look at the intelligence per se, so where is the intelligence? The body itself has an intelligence, correct? Every cell is not without intelligence. Otherwise, how does the kidney cell know I have to make kidney and not make the brain? That would be a problem if the kidney cells decide to make brain. Nothing would be retained because kidney's job is to remove the toxin. The brain's job is to retain. And imagine if everything got, mixed up like that. So that each cell, that is why we said Ani or Aniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. The smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. And so that means no cell in the body or in the universe is without the presence of this Atma, this intelligence alone. And so when I'm talking of this particular body-mind-sense complex, because I want to bring home the knowledge of Atma to myself, then you say it is situated in the cave of the intellect, the cave of the heart, metaphorically speaking, because there is no cave, as we know, there is no heart, there is no mind like that. And here the cognitive faculty is invoked, because the cognitive faculty is needed to understand the Atma. So, but the cognitive faculty is selectively needed, because the mind is the place where the knowledge of the Atma happens, but the mind is not the agent of the knowledge. That's all. Yeah. Good question. Anything else? Okay.